All right. Good evening, everyone. Today is February 2nd, 2021. Most gracious and Heavenly Father, we thank you, God, for another opportunity of prayer. We thank you, God, for allowing us to see yet another day. We ask you, God, that you bless our conversation. We thank you for all the viewers. Thank you for their families. Oh, God, I ask you, God, that you will keep everyone safe during these difficult times with the storm on the East Coast. I thank you, God, for not being there back home at this particular time. Lord, I ask you, God, that you would send special prayers and protection to Gilbert White for all those that think all the snow was a request, a prayer request from his. Keep him covered with your precious blood, Lord. And we ask you, God, that you bless our conversation and everything else about this show. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So I just kind of mentioned in my prayer, I want to send a big heated hug to all my people back home in Jersey that's sitting under about 6 to 8 feet of snow. Look like I've been seeing it on Facebook Live all day. You guys stay safe,
Mhm.
try to stay warm. At the end of the day, like I said, make sure you guys are staying safe. Everybody's tired of being in the house and everything, but be safe and I'm praying that it'll stop soon because last I heard it's still snowing and it's snowing for 3 days straight. So
Wow.
my heart is with you guys, but I do not miss it.
I'm a
Um,
Michigander. Born and bred. I don't miss it either.
I know that's right. And then I want to give my condolences to my brother, um, Sal, all my Alexander family, Mega, Ronnie, on the passing of Bud. But we gonna miss you. You was a real one. And even in our society, period, we have this saying, "Real recognizes real," and that doesn't just apply to spirit streets. It applies to spiritual. It applies to all aspects of my life. I just think that real people recognize real people. And with that
Mm.
being said, I want to give my heartfelt condolences and sympathies to the Nichols family. I know that I love you guys. You guys are in my prayers. To Pastor Will, Cheryl, Shutter, Sean, Tanya, everybody, all the other Will, all the children. This right here, and I said what I said. I said what I said about real being real because I didn't grow up in Church of God in Christ, and I wasn't exposed to a lot of Church of God in Christ churches growing up. I knew they were around, but I didn't know anything about them in particular. But when I first
Mhm.
met Pastor Will's dad, it was like, man, this one right here, this is a real one. This is a picture perfect uh portrait of a real genuine man of God. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you know that he eat, live, sleep, and breathe preaching the gospel.
Period.
Like nothing
Period.
else. Like everything else was
Period.
secondary. And for that level of commitment, man, job well done. Take your rest, sir. We thank you for your contributions. We thank you for the examples that you
Absolutely.
set. We thank you for all the seeds that you sown. And we thank God that we just thank God for having you a part of our lives, man. We're gonna miss you. And know that, like I said, Pastor Will and everybody else, the rest of the nigga family, know that you guys are in my heart and you as well as in my prayers. Um, with all that being said, today is the very this is we coming up on a year, y'all. Coming up on a year of the Marvin Bennett show.
Come on,
But
year.
yeah, coming up on a year. But this is the first edition during the month of February. So this is actually our first show during the Black History Month, and I decided to have my sister, my friends on, Miss LYASHIA
Yeah.
Webb.
Mm-mm.
Most of you guys know her. I'm gonna let her introduce herself to you guys in a second. But this is one of the young lady that I met in church, and she's very opinionated like myself, which is why I always was looking forward to having this. When I first started the show, I think like she was like the third person I told. I said, listen, I don't know when we're gonna do it, but I gotta have you on the show because I think that we can chop it up and have some real good dialogue. And thank you for
Absolutely.
taking out the time to do this. Greet the people and tell the people who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you for having me because I mean to be on the Marvin Bennett show, thought it was tickets and a waiting list. So I feel special to be on the Marvin Bennett show this evening. Number one. So thank you for having me, first of all.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
like you said, I'm Laisha. A lot of, I mean, most of the people I know you from church. Born and bred from Detroit, Michigan. Have been in North Carolina now for the last like 12 or 13 years. A lot of people ask how we got here. It was, just took a map out and was like, where you want to go? And that's kind of how that happened. Here we are. I am really down to earth type of girl. I'm ready for the conversation. Mother, 3 kids, married 15 years this year. Just plain old me. Just plain
Now,
old
before we get into the Black History stuff, so you said Detroit, right? Detroit, Michigan?
bread all day.
Oh, man. See, Detroit, one of those cities that I always want to get to because I'm like a big, big Marvin Winans fan musically. Like, nobody in this entire world can sing like Marvin. Now, granted, Jersey, we got great musicians. We make a little name for ourselves. We are not New York. We are our own state. You know what I'm saying? We rep
Right.
our own set.
Right.
But it was just something about, to me, it was always as a Black individual, back to Black History Month. But I could only imagine what it was like to be growing up in Detroit with all the rich Black history as far as music, the Stevie Wonders and the Clark sisters and the Paul. Everybody, Fred, everybody is there all together. Aretha Franklin, the Queen,
Right.
the voice of the century. You know what I mean? It's like, what was that like or did you realize? I know for me, when I left Jersey, I seen the Statue of Liberty every day. So when I moved from Jersey, it was like, and then I remember before 9/11, I remember seeing the Twin Towers every single day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, even now when I go back home all these years, 20 years later, it's like, I can't believe that the Twin Towers are gone. It's like, I took all these things for granted. Like, who want to go to the Statue of Liberty? Who want to go see the Twin Towers?
Right.
Like, did you experience that after leaving Detroit?
So the funny thing is, Motown, like the building that a lot of people visit, as a Detroiter, born and bred, having been there all my life, I never not one time stepped foot in it. And I'm kind of embarrassed to say that because one of those things, one of those buildings, one of those places that if you visit the city, like that's on your must go to list, right?
Yeah, it's a must.
And it's in an area that you wouldn't necessarily think to visit. It's not one of the best areas of Detroit. But ironically, my school was on the same street. I could walk from my school to the building. It was just one of those things, like you said, you take for granted. I passed it every day going to work. It was just like, oh, okay, it's there, but you don't appreciate the heritage. You don't appreciate the history behind it until you start hearing stories. So my father-in-law, like, he's big on stories, right? So he'll say, back in the day, me and your mama, when he talking to Mo, right? Back in the day, me and your mama, we met so-and-so, and we went to this concert, and just talking to my mom and her friends, and them talking about how they knew Anita Baker and Aretha Franklin. Like, it's so dope to hear these stories, but it's so unfortunate that I lived there for so long and didn't appreciate the heritage. Like, it was right there, and I didn't appreciate it.
Wow. I'm gonna need you to do better. I'm gonna need you to do better for your girls.
So now when I go back, I gotta go visit. I'm a tourist in my own city. Horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
And because, like you said, I get that. I'm from North New Jersey. It's not the safest place in the state of New Jersey.
Right.
But it's like, so I get what you're saying when you say it's not in the best part of town.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's history. It's like Black history. It's
absolutely.
It's ingrained in the water, in the culture. Period.
It's crazy. So now I see all these movies, right? So I watched a couple of weeks ago Sylvie's Love, and just all these different movies that shoot different things there, and I'm like, oh, I don't even know what it looks like on the inside. And I've been there for so long. I could have been like, oh, I know, I've seen that wall. All I know is what I've seen in the movies, and it's so unfortunate because I go there often because my grandparents still live there, and so a number of my family members do. So I go there often, but it's one of those things. Like,
wow,
I get there. I need to get there though. I need to take a picture on the steps.
Gotcha.
I have to take a picture on the steps.
Make sure you shoot it to me.
I will.
I'm gonna need you to get your picture before I get mine, though.
Okay. Deal.
All right, so that's actually a good transition to kind of where I kind of wanted to go. Being at Black History Month, you just talked
Mm-hmm.
about, not being able to take advantage of being in a historical place as far as Black culture. I kind of want to go back to the beginning though. Like,
Let's do it.
first of all, I'm not giving anybody any passes, okay? But for first of all, and then it's like, the president, he got up there and said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't Black. Which me personally, I found highly offensive. For the simple
Yeah.
fact, what gives you the audacity to speak on my Blackness in any way when you ain't Black? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? What gives you the
A lot of people
audacity?
think they have that inner Blackness, you know what I mean? They try to relate to the culture because they speak the way we speak or they use some of the vernacular, and so they feel like they down, they hip, or somebody from our culture has validated them, okay, i.e. Trump and Lil Wayne. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Somebody has validated them to make them feel like they can make those kinds of statements. People only do what they feel like they're allowed to do. So
Mm-hmm.
Biden wouldn't have made that statement if he didn't feel like he had some kind of segue. Now it backfired,
Yeah.
but he felt like he had some kind of segue. He used the vernacular, my people, I'm not, he felt like he had a segue to do it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I just found that highly offensive. But
Oh,
it's like, when I think about the dynamics of the so-called Black family,
mm-hmm.
um, like I said, when we go back to the history,
Right.
even me and my friends in high school and stuff, we would watch Roots and we would
Mm-hmm.
watch the Mississippi Burners, and man, that couldn't be me. You know what I mean? We from the inner city, so
Right.
we can't imagine
Right.
Phil.
Right.
And you know what I mean? We got one or two parks, so we
Right.
don't know that about Phil's. All we see is concrete. They call it the inner city the concrete jungle for a reason. You know what I
Period.
mean? So we can't relate to that type of stuff.
Right.
So I understand that, but to me, it is birthed from a place of ignorance because like I was saying about the importance of Motown as far as musically in Detroit, I think it's really important, especially the older that I get, is that we learn our history. Try to learn as much about where it is that we come from, because we talk about how the Black family is so broken and it's so home. Well, let's go back to the beginning when we came to this country, because you
Mm-hmm.
had Black people that were enslaved. After watching that, we was going back and forth on a post talking about things to watch, and I went and watched that Enslaved, and I recommend it for people that's into that type
Is
of
that the
thing.
one you told me to watch?
Yeah, it's like with Samuel L. Jackson. It's sort of like a documentary where he
Mm-hmm.
goes to learn exactly where he comes from, his roots, all the way back to Africa, and they
Mm-hmm.
talk about the different ships that different families and different regions came from on the ships, and just that pyramid, the great millions of people died just
Mm-hmm.
in the pilgrimage alone, and just the history. And one thing that I took away from it all, it was like, me personally, I want to stop when I talk about history. I want to stop referring to slaves as slaves, because they weren't
Mm-hmm.
slaves; they were enslaved. These were
I
doctors,
can
these
go
were
with
lawyers, these were people these were entrepreneurs. These people were raising their own farms and everything else when they came over here. So they
it.
were enslaved. They wasn't slaves. Is slavery over here? They children became slaves, but it still started from enslavement. So to me,
Yeah.
that's differently than slavery. But when we talk about slavery in the Black family, you first of all, we got to remember one thing, and don't get me wrong, I've never been on that whole all white people are devils, because whether you're talking Islam, whether you're talking Christianity, at the core of those belief systems, you are to judge a man on his own character, nothing
Absolutely.
less. No, not how tall he is, not how short, fat, skinny, or his skin color. You're supposed to judge that person on their merit, on their actions, on their
Absolutely.
deeds. So, having said that, when you negate that, you can't look at things objectively. And I think that's one of the problems, that most white people, they sympathize with us, but they can't empathize with us because they can't look at the same scenario objectively. You know what I mean? And the reason that I say that is because from the beginning, those white masters, they weren't people. They were property. So if I feel like going out there in my bourbon gin and I see that nice little brown thing out there with them nice wide hips and them nice breasts, and I got an old flat pancake fanny in the house with me, you know what I mean? I can go do what I want with my property.
Right.
And that's so unfair. Doesn't matter whether she's married. It doesn't matter whether she has children. How many? Can you imagine how many men had to watch their woman being, raped in front of their eyes?
Right.
And if you think about doing anything as a man, okay, we're gonna castrate you in front of the whole plantation. So to all the rest of these jokers that want to stand up for their woman, they're gonna think twice before they do it.
Your lesson.
You see what I'm saying? So when you talk about all this different culture, or the ones that didn't get that type of effect, but because you felt like Master felt like you was gonna be a problem, I'm gonna ship your wife off to Kansas and your children off to California and send you up to Canada. You know what I mean? So I feel like we were at a disadvantage because not only did we not get that time to physically bond, but we didn't get that spiritual connection. We were ripped away from the core of who we are. So my personal question is, like, how do we get back to finding out who it is that we are? Where is it that we come from as a people?
You know what? I think the unfortunate part is some people don't really care, if I'm being honest. Some people, the history, the heritage, who they are, it's not important to them, right? And unfortunately, some people just will never know who they are. I feel like for some people, you just have to start where you are. You just have to start from the here and the now. Because like you said, just going back to your statement of not all white people are bad white people, like, I'm not a big history buff. Okay, that's one of those classes where I kind of, snoozed a little bit, but I do watch documentaries and things like that. And so from what I've watched and just the reenactments, the movies, reading the books, when I was in elementary school, we did a Black History like play. Like it was a production. Every year it was a production. And so just learning those different things, not all white people are bad people. They're just not. And I think that starts even back in slavery times, like just reading different things. You had some white people leading some of these movements and being safe houses for some of the runaways and things like that. So I think a lot of times we like to group people, and I hate that because I hate being grouped. I absolutely hate it. Oh, you from Detroit? Oh, you one of them, huh? Oh, you feisty, huh?
Yeah.
You this, huh? I hate it. So I don't do it at all because I don't like it being done to me. I am LYASHIA. I'm not a girl from the Detroit, from Detroit, the West Side, who's this, that, and the third. No, I'm me. Just label me as me. So I don't label all white people the same. So when we think about history and going back and thinking about slavery, because yes, we were enslaved. They were enslaved, right? I agree with you 100%, but I also do believe they were slaves to someone. They had to serve against their will. They had to do things that they would not have done otherwise. So they were absolutely enslaved, but they were slaves to someone. And I think, unfortunately, that mentality has just been passed down generation to generation to generation to generation in some way, shape, or form. It's been passed down. Like, a lot of people still have that enslaved mentality, right? When you think about it, people are enslaved to their job. Like, a lot of people, there are so many entrepreneurs that are sitting at a desk working a 9 to 5 because they're mentally enslaved, thinking this is what I'm supposed to do, right? Because generation ago, great granddaddy said, this is what we do. We work for somebody, we make the money, we bring it home, we feed our family. Especially for men, I feel so bad for Black men. Like, Black men, okay, first of all, my shirt, dear Black men, I love you, I support you. Okay, this is what my shirt says, dear Black man.
What's up?
I feel so bad for the Black man because there's so much pressure on you guys to perform and to be great and to provide for your family and all these things. It's so the space for you to thrive and to be the best version of yourself is so small because of that enslaved mentality that's been passed down. Now, it's not everybody, okay? My grandfather, amazing man. Shout out to my grandfather who just turned 92. One of the dopest men, Kojic. Okay, one of the dopest men I have ever met. One of the dopest men I will ever love in my life.
Happy born day.
Yes, January 5th, 1929. He he was an entrepreneur. So his mental, he was not about that whole enslavement thing. Nah, I ain't working for nobody. If somebody gonna work for somebody, they gonna be working for me, and that's period. I ain't working for nobody. As long as I've been born, okay, as long as I've been walking this earth, my grandfather has always been an entrepreneur. I've never seen my grandfather clock a clock ever in my life, and I've never seen my grandmother do it because my grandfather dropped the enslaved mentality. He dropped that mental bondage of I gotta work for this person. This is how we take care of our women and our families. He dropped it. That died with him. Nah, that's not gonna happen. So I never saw my grandfather punch a clock. I never saw my grandmother punch a clock because my grandfather paved the way for those mental shifts to happen in my family. And I appreciate that. So I don't necessarily go to look back at, my lineage and all that kind of stuff. I could start with my grandfather happily. Shout out to my great great greats and the greats of the greats. But my grandfather is where the shift started for me and for my family and for my mental. You don't have to now. It took me a little longer to get to where I needed to be, but that's where my shift started with my grandfather. No, he calls me Nikki. Nikki, y'all gotta work for nobody. Nah, you ain't gotta do that. And even now at 92, Nikki, what you doing? How you making millions? What you got going on? What's going on in your mind? What you thinking? 92. 92. It's like he's saying, I'm gonna die making sure you never look back for somebody to take care of you. You as long as you a part of me, nah. That whole enslaved mentality, you gotta work for somebody else, you gotta slave to make another man a dollar. Nah, that dies.
Yo, what's good, Mo? More Mr. Webb say he's in the building. What's good, bro? We got a comment from Jamina. She says, for survival, we have always had to know, understand white people. They don't have to know, understand us. Very true. I
That is
agree with
so
that.
true. That is so true. That
Oh
is
God, Jen starting to Jen is my number one fan. She's my top viewer. Jennifer
what you
says I'm gonna agree to disagree with this here. Because I know many sisters agree with you. But Jen says black women go through way more than the black man. Now, that's a whole conversation in itself. That right there,
No, let's go there. Let's go there. Black
I don't even
history.
want to.
Because we could take this back to the way back. You want to talk about slavery, black women. Now, while I agree but also disagree, if we're talking slavery, women held it down. Okay? Women held it down. They had to be the mistress for the master. They had to be the cook for the big house. They had to work in the fields if necessary. They had to board the children. They had to help the cousin who was born the children. They had to be the doctor, the nurse, the teacher, the principal, the wife. They had to do it all. So from back in slavery time, women held it down. Women held it down. That doesn't take anything away from the black man because the black man also held it down. Like they did. But yeah, Jamina said being a black woman is like being black twice. I can't disagree with that. It is. We get overlooked. Our ceiling is like at y'all kneecaps. Our ceiling is so low comparatively speaking. And that has been, we just have been devalued since slavery. Like when they see the man, they see big, buff. They can carry the barrels of cotton. They can, swing the axe. They can bring in the wood. But the woman, all she could do is cook. All she could do is board a child. All she could do is clean. So we've always been devalued. Little did they know the black woman was behind the scene doing it all. Period.
True indeed. Now, from that aspect, all those points are totally valid. Totally valid. Yeah. Did black women suffer? Yes. I think me personally, I won't say a disadvantage, but there is something about being a woman to me because as a man, I know I would never know what it's like to be a woman, but I can only imagine just based off my own personal experiences, like to know how it is to be, you could be violated just because you are a female. Like I almost feel like almost every woman has some story, even if it don't go as far as rape, thank God, but they have some kind of story of inappropriateness, whether it comes from in the family or just because they are a female. So that alone, that definitely gets like big ups for me. My thing is the reason why I don't like to go, comparisons who has it worse is because as a black man in America, since we've been here, black women they don't understand what it's like to be a walking target, a walking bullseye. You know what I mean? Y'all get to do those things and be the mistress and the teacher and all that there because you know why? They gonna kill us dead.
We get to do those things. We get like it's
no. What I'm saying is, it may sound harsh, but you are afforded those opportunities because you are still alive. They are killing us. We don't get the chance to go to school to be no teacher because I'm scared of what John might do. Especially an educated black man. That is a threat. It has always been a threat. So it's like we literally, y'all might have to go through a whole lot more than we do from an individual standpoint. But to be a walking target, no one else in America will ever know what that feels like except for a black man.
Being a black man is a walking target, right? That's what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Or being an educated black man is a walking target. Being an educated black woman is even worse. Being an educated black woman, they automatically want to take you out the game. Because the thing that people don't seem to realize is that I love black men. I support my black brothers hand over fist. Anything I can do to support them because I have brothers, I have cousins, I have uncles. Like I said, my grandfather's still alive. So I have a lot of black men in my life. But they already know that a black woman, an educated black woman, we can't only do more than and I hate to say this, okay, black men, don't take me out the game. But not only can a black woman, and I'll tell you why, not only can a black woman an educated black woman do twice as much as a black man, she could put a Karen, a Steve, a Mark, a Jenny to shame. Period. There is very little that you could do with an educated black woman. We could flip stuff that a person wouldn't even think to flip. We can make money in ways that when you look at statistics right now and stats and numbers, the black woman is the biggest market or biggest demographic when it comes to entrepreneurs right now. An educated black woman is a missile. Light a fire under an educated black woman and she will blow some stuff up.
I totally agree. But my point is, even though I agree with that, my point is the black women, if like you said, if you want to go look at it, and it's funny that you say that because I was thinking about in my head about that. I would love to see the actual statistics of entrepreneurs and black women in position versus black men. But my whole point is, y'all definitely gonna win because like I said at the beginning, because you are afforded that opportunity. The black man, the educated black man doesn't get the same opportunity that an educated black woman gets. A Fortune 500 company is more likely willing to hire a black educated woman than a black educated man.
Nah, I can't go there. I can't agree with that.
Like you said, statistics show it. There are more black people, there are more black women in power positions than there are black men.
That's
And a
because
lot
we
of that
take
has to do with because the people that are hiring us for those positions would rather see a black woman in that position than a black man.
We take them. We don't wait. Don't nobody afford us opportunities more so than y'all. We is like I said, we as black women, we take what we want. We go after it. We don't sit and wait. Hence, the highest demographic of entrepreneurs. Ain't nobody giving us no more grants than they giving the black man.
I agree to disagree.
I am a two-time business owner, right? I'm a part owner with most company and I own my own business. I'm not getting no more grants than what he's getting. He's been in business 10 years. I'm a newly developed business of my own, but I ain't getting no more money than he getting. And he ain't getting no more than I'm getting. But I bet you who is getting more money than the both of us, Karen, Steve, Jenny,
Oh, that's
Mark.
definitely not my. I have no argument there. I believe that. I
But
believe that
if
wholeheartedly.
we are getting a difference of money, it's because we go after it. Black women don't sit and wait. We take what we want. And I'm not saying black men don't. I'm just simply saying black women, we just get it done. It's in our nature. It's in our nature. That's why we as moms, as women, we are called superwoman, right? I like to call it octopus mom. You got all these arms and all these. Mo will tell you, nah. With case in point, when I go out of town, I got to make sure the girl's hair is done. I got to make sure dinner is had them a set out plan, grocery shops, make sure I've run to the bank to leave money. I got to make sure all this stuff is done. When he go out of town, he get dropped off at the airport. Black women Black women get it done. We don't sit and wait for anything or anybody. We don't wait for handouts because guess what? We've never got them.
Oh, let's be clear.
And I
Let's be clear. I'm not talking. I'm not talking about monetarily, but I don't like that word because ain't nobody looking for handouts either. I don't feel like black men are looking for handouts either. But I do feel like overall, if you walk into IBM, if you walk into Blue Cross Blue Shields as an educated black woman or educated black man, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna give a proud position to the educated black woman before they give it to the black man. And I know black women will not agree with that. That's my opinion. I believe if we look it up, the numbers will show it.
It's some black men in here. I need them to chime into these comments and comments because I don't agree with that at all. If it's me sitting in the room, if me and a black man got the same credentials, we're going out for the same position. It is no way that a black woman is getting that position over a black man. I no.
I disagree because y'all are less threatening than you. Y'all are less threatening than the idea of a black man. If he ever finds out how he really doing it, then all of a sudden we're gonna have black postal workers. We're gonna really have the Black Panther movement. Black women at the end of the day, y'all all the respect y'all do, but you are not in white. I'm talking about in white people's eyes. You are less of a threat than a black man is. Period. That's physically, that's mentally, you are less of a threat than a black man. I'd rather lose my position to a black woman than a black man.
I don't agree with that. It's mixed reviews in these comments.
Yeah, I'm trying to get those too. They coming in.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. And that goes back to times of slavery. Like I said, I don't agree with that. I don't believe that black men sit and wait for handouts. So please don't get me wrong when I say that. I don't believe that at all because I know some amazing, dope black men who go get it, who get it done, right? So I'm not saying they wait for handouts. What I am saying is I know a lot of amazing black women who are out here making it happen, who are starting businesses, who are flourishing. Personally, I know
I
some
agree.
who are killing it. It just, again, statistics show we the demographic that's killing it on the entrepreneur side. I'm just saying.
I'm not that, and that's like my argument. I do, like you said, it's not fact. I would love to see this. I would love to see the stats on it, but that's just my opinion. At the end of the day, a black man is more threatening than a black woman. So yeah, y'all are getting more. Y'all have more entrepreneurships. You have more businesses because you are afforded the opportunity, whether you go out there and get it or not, and take advantage of it. But you are afforded more opportunities than a black man is.
Well, show them to me because I ain't seen them. I ain't seen them. Mary said, I agree, Marvin. Educated black men are not given their due. I agree with that 100%. That's definitely not my argument. I agree. Black men are not given a seat at the table as much as they should be given a seat at the table. I agree with that 110%. I just don't agree that if it was a black man against a black woman, same credentials, same everything, that a black woman would get it.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I'm saying if you I'm not saying that's a general thing. I don't mean it as a general statement. I'm just saying that we take each incident of opportunity that was presented to a black woman as opposed to a black man, whether it be financially, whether it be educationally, no matter what it may be, we just go on individual opportunities. I believe that black women get more opportunity than black men because it's just a thought. Like, and it was funny because I was watching the Jane Pittman story earlier, and this applies to women too, but you've seen it with the men. Like, yo, we live in a country where once upon a time you could be murdered just because as a black man you knew how to read.
True.
Not because you was making money, not because you had a great job, not because you built this business, just because you know how to read, you could be killed.
Very true.
You know what I mean? What they gonna do to a woman that know how to read? They gonna take out there, they gonna whip her, they gonna put her in the big house, they gonna, you know what I mean? They gonna do whatever they want to, but she is still living to experience that pain and that hardship. Black men, we are dead for something as simple as reading. And like you said, it's ingrained in the society from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
That's why people love them or hate them. You can feel how you want to about them. That's what America feared the most about Obama. Here it is. You got this man. He's in the most powerful seat in America. A black man that's just flowing with it. That feared white America. Man, listen, we gotta do everything in our power to never let this happen again. Now, you know what I mean? I really believe that's their mentality. Even with the whole Kamala Harris, to prove my point. Okay, if anything happened to Joe Biden, we'd rather see a black woman in position than another idiot. You know what I mean? Or a black man. And not that it was, you know, it's not that it wasn't even. I won't even say that in this particular case, but I'm just saying, like, I just once again, I do believe that black women are afforded more opportunities than black men because the black man is feared if we ever get to a power position. I do feel like white society is scared of what a black man might think of doing after all the time in history that we did them wrong. They don't fear that same possibility from a black woman.
I can agree with that. But at the end of the day, I think we both, as black men and women, kind of what Jennifer was saying, that we collectively have it extremely hard. And I was reading some of the comments. We collectively have it extremely hard. Mm-hmm. We have it hard. I think the easiest thing to do is to look at who has it harder, right? But supporting each other is what's necessary. Supporting each other is what's needed right now. That's why the other day you saw me put up support small businesses like Target and Amazon. I love them, but they straight support small black businesses because, like Jennifer said, we have to support each other. We do.
Now I wanted to get on that too. Yes. That's actually in my notes.
That's the perfect segue. Black women.
That's in my notes.
Yes, Patrick, black women do make a way out of no way. Okay, we'll make a meal out of whew,
And I
we'll
can't
make a
find it now because they coming in so quick. But Jen made a good point. And Jen, don't get me wrong. It's like this is not. First of all, me and my sis, we not arguing. This is just good debate. Iron sharpens iron.
right.
So this is nothing personal at all. You know what I mean? We just
No.
that's how we grow. The Bible tells us what? Let us come together and reason. And me personally, I feel like what that means is you need an atheist at the table. You need somebody from Islam at the table. You need a Christian at the table. You need a man at the table. You need a female at the table because everybody has a different perspective based off of their own experiences. So I love that dialogue there. But like you said, it's not about who has it worse. And that's why I kind of didn't really want to get into that. But for the sake of the show and time, I did kind of want to touch on it a little bit, especially with LYASHIA. I just kind of wanted to pick up brain. But yeah, at the end of the day, we all got to work together, which is kind of what I wanted to get to. And you know, all this hating on each other, and this is big for me because I'm at a point in my life where it's like, no, like Rodney King, to me, I don't agree with what he said. Can't we all just get along? You know, I get the sentiment, but we all ain't got to get along. You know what I mean? But we ain't got to. That don't mean that we got to hate each other either.
Where's my bucket? Because you need an offering. You need an offering.
Just because we don't get along don't mean that we got to hate on each other. You go do you over there. I'm gonna go do me over here. You know how many people that I wouldn't go out to dinner with or have a conversation with, but I see they have stuff on Facebook and businesses. I shoot them something. I purchase something because when I'll never forget real quick. Years ago, one of my first jobs out of high school, I worked at this car dealership. And it was actually owned by the mob, right? And I remember hearing a story from one of these. Yeah. So I remember hearing, you know, we don't name names. I'm just telling a story. We don't name no names though. But I remember this older guy telling us, this older Italian guy. He was saying, we was talking about investment, right? Mm-hmm. And he said, well, let's say when little Joey comes to me talking about he wants to do this rap, I don't want to hear that gibberish or that yakety yak. But if I see that my $5,000 investment can get me 10 to 15,000 on the comeback, then it don't matter whether I listen to it or not. I'm gonna invest it because I'm gonna get something from it, and he's gonna get something from it. You know what I mean? It ain't about whether you believe in it or what, but let's support one another. You know what I mean? And before we wrap up, I'm gonna let y'all talk. You know, promote y'all businesses because, like I said, I mean, anybody I know, you got a parking lot or got a contract, you a manager position, Mo do stripping, you know, all that kind of good stuff. But find ways to support one another.
He ain't stripping. Ain't no clothes coming off. We strike the.
No, I'm sorry. I did say stripping. Striping. I'm sorry, business. I'm sorry, business. You know, we got my cousin Jill, Ebonita Jane Vega. She do homemade hot sauces. Anybody that like hot sauce, yo, get at her in the comments. You know what I'm saying?
Well, how about we do this? Because there's a lot of entrepreneurs in here. I see some myself. If you're an entrepreneur, why don't you drop your business in the comment?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because that's what it's all about. That's how we grow.
Some of y'all do. But I want you to drop your business in the comment. What you doing, what you aspiring to do, your website, your page. Drop it in the comment because it's important to support each other, right? Now let me say this. I am not that person that's like only support black businesses. No, because not all, and this is something else. Okay, this is kind of me on my soapbox. I'm gonna be on here just for 1 second. We cannot say support black businesses, but then your black business is a hot mess. Cannot do that. I cannot begin to tell you how many black businesses don't have it together. It's embarrassing. You send somebody to your bro or your sis because you like they do this. They got a boutique. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's poor customer service. We sometimes are our worst enemy. We sometimes make our own selves look horrible. We are sometimes the reason why Amazon, Target, Walmart, eBay, Foot Locker are thriving because when you try to do business with a black company, you either get a nasty owner, right? And I'm huge on customer service. If my product is late in the mail or it's a delayed shipping because over Christmas, right? Those who ship products, there were delays like crazy, right? But if you have good customer service, I can deal with the delay. We can work on the delay. But if I'm contacting you about my product, why are you contacting me? You already know what. Now we have a problem because I've spent my money with you, but now you have a problem
Absolutely.
offering me customer service.
Absolutely.
So I say all that to say, if you have a black business, be very, very mindful of how you interact and treat your customer because it makes a huge difference. First impressions are lasting, and we are oftentimes our worst enemies. We are oftentimes our worst enemies. Yeah, that's it. I'll say that.
And while you on that soapbox, where is it at? I have pulled up some quotes because I had kind of wanted to do some quotes. But one that came from Maya Angelou said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And that's something that I always say. My motto is I flip it a little bit. I say I can show you better than I can tell you. You know what I mean? That's exactly what I mean by that. I can show you better than I can tell you. I don't care how much I say I love you. I need you to know that I love you based on the way I treat you and what you know what I mean? Not what I do for you or what you would get from me, but all of that. And while you're on that soapbox, I want to flip it from my side. Okay. Let's be clear, people. Hookups was for high school. You know what I mean? I need to get that copyright. I need to get that copyright. I want to put that on a t-shirt. Hookups is for high school, yo. Just think about it. If everybody that start their own business gave everybody that they knew a hookup, they ain't gonna be in business long. Like, why is it that every time somebody starts something and gets something on their own, we looking for the freebie or we want them to give us 70% off? Like, no, man, that's inconsiderate because guess what? If you would start your business, would you want somebody to do the same thing to you?
Or we could just put it like this. If you was going to Target, are you finding the owner to say, can I get a 50% discount?
Exactly.
No, you paying full price. That's why with me, like I said, I know a couple of people who are entrepreneurs and and it's some of the things that they do that I could legit do myself. Like I can do myself. But I spend the money with them. I don't ask for a discount. I don't ask for the hookup. I don't ask for friends and family. If they offer it, that's fine. But I'm not going to ask for it because it's not just the product. It's these people's time. It's their energy. It's their, it's their gift. It's their gift.
Exactly.
To pour into like I would want somebody to pour into me. I think that's the worst thing you could do. Ask
to me, if you as somebody from the streets, to me, it's a sign of disrespect. Every time you come to me, you coming with your hand out. Yo, bro. Like when you ever just say, you know what? If I got a CD store, right? Let's say I'm trying to come out, I got my own music store. When do you ever just come say, look, I don't even want no music today. Well, here go 20.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just because you're trying to support, like, you know me, I'm big into music. Music is half my life. You know how many CDs I got that I don't think that person can sing. I don't, you know what I mean? I would never go pay to see them live, but I'm gonna buy a ticket anyway because one day I might be in that position where I'm gonna need people to support my dream. I said it on previous shows. Like one thing I always tell my boys is the only thing that you can do in this world by yourself is be lonely. You know what I mean? No matter what you do in this life, you're going to need somebody else to do something for you. If you got an entrepreneur, you're going to need customers. You know what I mean? If you're going to be a teacher, you're going to need somebody to teach. So, you can't do nothing in this world by yourself. So the quicker we could get out this selfish mentality and I got to get mine for me, you know what I'm saying? I'm living my best life. Why we can't all live our best life? all
I
together.
tell people all the time, listen, I can't speak for anybody else's table, but as far as my table, there's room for all of us to eat. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not competing with anybody. What's for me is for me. What's for my sister is for my sister. What's for my brother is for my brother. And I'm going to support you. It's so many people that I've gifted and blessed in the background. It's crazy. And I would
Mm-hmm.
do it again and again and again and again. I don't look, the thing about me is I don't look for accolades. I don't look for pats on the back. I don't ask nobody to tell nobody. In fact, don't tell nobody that I blessed you. Let that stay between me and you. But if I can support you in any way, shape, or form, I'm going to do it because I want to see my brother or sister thrive. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, if you're thriving, I'm sitting over here like, look at my sister. She
Yeah.
over there, she done made it to 1 million. I'm genuinely happy to see
Mm-hmm.
the people I know killing it. Like,
Yeah.
it makes me so happy to
Absolutely.
see it. Doesn't matter where I am, what, like, if I haven't made it big, that's fine, because my day will come. If it's supposed to come, it'll come. But in the meantime, let me celebrate and support my sister or my brother who has made it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because, like you said, one day I'm gonna need you to be in my stands cheering me on.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, let's fill up your stands and cheer
Mm-hmm.
you on.
Yeah.
So when it's my time to shine, we can bring all that same support to my stands and
Mm-hmm.
cheer me on. It's room for everybody at the table. This whole competing, oh, I'm not, I ain't gonna tell them about so and so because she do the same thing that I do. So what? It's sometimes you're not selling a product, you selling yourself. Sometimes she might vibe more with you than she does with your homegirl, or vice versa. You're not selling a product. And that's another thing. A lot of times people think they selling a product or a service when they're really selling themselves. Because I use this analogy with my kids and at home. I can get the same things at Walmart that I get from Target. But you better believe I'ma pay that extra $3 for them buggies that roll smooth like butter before I walk into Walmart to get that product. Because I'm not buying a product, I'm buying an experience.
Mm-hmm.
I'm buying an experience. So just because I offer it don't mean that that person is going to vibe with what I have going on. They may vibe better with my sister. So if I can't get the money, why not alley oop my sis? Here you
Mm-hmm.
go. I don't know. That's just me. Call me crazy, but that's
Now
how
I'm with you all the way there. Like we definitely got to support one another.
absolutely.
Bottom line, period. I mean, like you said, if you see somebody out here trying, because you quick to talk about somebody that ain't doing nothing.
Right.
So
You
how you gonna hate on
out your
somebody
bad
that's trying to do something at the same level that you hate on somebody that ain't doing nothing?
right. Jamina just said something about that. She said, and also let a black business know your feedback and allow them to make you whole if they are open to it. Don't quickly bash them to others without being willing to tell them. Case in point, Patrick said trying to get rich overnight. Customer service means a lot. I promise you. 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
100%. Let me see. Jennifer said, speaking to Maya Angelou, she said, as far as I know, white women has never been lonely, only in books. White men adored them. Black men desired them, and black women worked for them. See how we always end up on the bottom. Come on, sis. Let me love that comment because
Yeah.
period.
And I like that. I like that, Jen, because and it's true because I talked about the master. You know what I mean, treating the black women wrong. But guess what? Like I said, I don't know what it's like to be a woman, and you don't know what it's like to be a white woman. But guess what? You know what it's like to be a woman. Can
Period.
you imagine when your husband always dipping out into the barn and you leaving up here, laying up here by yourself at night? Soon as you got to make a business run, she going out there in that barn and she gonna find the one with the third leg. Come on down here, Buck, and show mama what you working with. So I definitely agree with that statement because it wasn't like black men wanted to do that, but it was like a luxury. Let me get back at Billy Bob. Let me get back,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna get pleasure in the process. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So, and then we wonder why we got so many. And I don't even want to get into that tonight, but the whole light skin, dark skin issues,
That's a
because
whole. Ooh, that made my ear itch. That's a whole
like one person, just because I don't care how much melanin you got, nobody is blacker than the other one. If you are a biracial,
well, back in
child,
slavery days, you was chocolate like me. You was in the field. Okay, but if you was light like my cousin, you was on that front porch. But like you said, that's a conversation for another day. I
yeah,
would have never made it.
had a lot to do with that framework too. And I'm quite sure with some Cicely Tyson's, and rest in peace, Cicely Tyson too. I said I was watching Jane Pittman earlier, but I want to think about her. We're gonna wrap up with her and Black excellence, because she to me she was the embodiment of a Black woman,
Black,
not just
absolutely.
Black excellence, Black everything. You know what I mean? Like from and people, I was like, people talking about, oh man, I'm so sad. I'm like, this lady lived to be 92 years old. Now, me personally, I'm just being real. I don't want to be the lady to be that long. And my friends say, don't say stuff like that. No, man, dude, listen. If you live, like I said, I'm watching Jane Pittman. If you live to be 100 years old, do you know how much heartache, hurt, pain you done lived through? How many people you done seen come and go? Like to live through two different wars, three different wars: the World War I, World War II, Pearl Harbor. This is like, oh my, like you just was, the Korea, exactly. All this stuff. I don't want to see all of that. There, COVID is enough for me to like. I didn't even want to live in this particular lifetime to know what COVID like. I would have rather been in heaven, and y'all telling me when y'all get there, boy. As soon as you left, man, listen, they came out with this new thing, this coronavirus. The cocoa. It came out with the cocoa, and it was killing everybody. Not just Black, but killing everybody. Coco was a beast.
She was 96. Toy said she was
96. Man, that's more than a lifetime, bro. That's more than a lifetime, and I thank her personally for her contribution, for giving her art. Like even in the movies where she would just do like a scene, and she was the old lady sitting on the porch, just schooling all of the young girls. Listen, have some dignity, have pride in yourself. You know what I mean? Take care of that man. Take care of your family. Because at the end of the day, it's your responsibility. Yeah, the man is supposed to be a provider, but you are a nurturer for a reason. God made us all by design. So I can't never get mad at a woman for not fulfilling a man's role and vice versa. You know what I mean? That's one reason I get real sensitive around Father's Day and Mother's Day, when, especially on Father's Day. Shout out to all the single mothers out there. Listen, I don't care how great that you did of a job raising your child, you would never know what it's like to be a father. No more than I would know what it's like to be a mother. You know what I mean? So let's keep it in this proper context. That just makes you the world's greatest parent.
Right.
You not both. Ain't nobody been both their mother and their father. Both the mother and the father to their child.
I don't do the whole a great parent. Happy Father's Day to a mother. I don't do that. That no shade to those who do, but that's just not my cup of tea. Like you said, I think there's some amazing. I know quite a few. I run a mommy group, right? 21st Century Mommy. So I know a lot of single moms, and shout out to them on Mother's Day. But on Father's Day, you're not gonna get a Happy Father's Day from me, because you don't have a tree stump and some berries.
Absolutely.
Okay? So happy Mother's Day, but on Father's Day, I got nothing for you.
So with that being said, shout out to all the great parents out there, period. No mothers, no fathers, just the great parents. Thank you. So we about to wrap up.
Shout out to before we wrap up, shout out to the amazing grandparents, great aunts, great uncles, because they are the backbone, the foundation, the history of who we are, man. Like I said, my grandfather is 92 and still pours into me all the time. So shout out to them that pour into us even still today. And like you said, shout out to the amazing moms, the dads, the bonus moms, bonus dads, the fill-in moms and dads. Like shout out to all of them. The village. The village. Like Man, some dope villages out here, some dope parents out here,
Mm-hmm.
some amazing moms and some amazing fathers. Like, shout out to them.
And
Absolutely.
keep on being family, especially during these times. You know, growing up in church, we heard all our lives we living in the last days. You can just look at the news and see we living in the last days. Well, the closer we get to that last day, how about we all just love on each other and be family, whether we
Right.
got blood or not. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I went on your page earlier and I seen your daughter dropping the Langston Hughes knowledge. Like, yo, shout out to, you know what I mean? Like, yo, when I see that, I smile. When I see that, I smile because now we got a whole nother generation that's going to learn how to network together and support each other if we show them how to do that.
Absolutely. It comes from
We got
us.
to
Like,
show them how to do that.
absolutely. What our parents and our grandparents did with us, it's now our turn to do with our kids or our kids' kids. Like, it's our turn. It's our turn.
Absolutely. All right. So, did you have anything you wanted to say to the people before we close out?
Listen, this was dope. You gotta
No
have me
doubt.
on again.
Yeah, definitely.
If
Definitely.
y'all if
Definitely.
y'all want to see me back on the Marvin Bennett show, just let him know. Okay, drop a comment or DM him so we
You're
can
gonna
do
be
this
back
again.
because we ain't even get half through half of my notebook. We ain't even get through half of my list
We
because
ain't
the
even
conversation's so
we
good.
ain't even getting. Oh, I know. We ain't gonna talk about this tonight, but we got to do a part two, right? Because what we need to talk about is this question that I said to you before.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that black love nowadays
Mm-hmm.
don't last as long as
Yeah.
our grandparents?
And I got a whole I had a whole thought process. I ain't had nothing written down, but I had a whole process on that. And like you said, we definitely gonna have to
Got
pick
to
up
do a
there.
part two.
And it's like the simple answer for me, before we close out, the simple answer for me, it always comes down to choice. Now, we're gonna elaborate on that more why I say choice on that next show. But I want to
Let's
thank you
do
for
it.
taking out the time to do this. I
Thank you for
appreciate
having
you.
me.
Hey, thank you guys for all the comments. You know what I mean? Y'all
Yeah,
guys ain't give us no questions tonight, but thank you for all the comments. Thank you guys for being a part of it and everything, interacting with us. Stay
absolutely.
tuned for next week. I believe I'm gonna have my cousin on. You're not gonna be really talking about Black history, but it should be a good show. I'm looking forward to this conversation. So with
Let's
that
go.
being said, know that I love all you guys. Love to your little ladies. Shout out to my brother Mo again. Salute. I started teasing you. I said I wanted to thank Mo for allowing you to do this.
Okay, don't do that. You're doing
Just
good.
because
Don't
it's
do
you.
that. Don't do that.
Just because it's you. I was like, I know better. Like, boy, all I say was, boy, bye.
Right. Bye, Marv. Bye. You already know.
All right. But I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Until next week, DeAndre and Lysa know that daddy loves you intentionally, but I also love you unconditionally. Peace.
Peace.